There we go. Take your Bibles and turn to Ecclesiastes chapter 7. Wait for just a second for those in the hallway to get in here. It's good to see everybody. I'm 100% better. Well, Linda questions that, but she keeps me humble and honest, I tell you. And I think this is Jackie's last Sunday here, for a little while anyway. You leaving Friday? Well, we'll miss you for sure. Told her I'm not going to let her go. Ecclesiastes chapter 7. Before I read the passages that we're going to cover, you know, I was thinking this week about all the self-imposed divides that we have in this world. Man, there are a lot of them. We divide people nationally, and we have opinions about other nationalities. We divide races. I was talking with Brother Carl about that yesterday. No matter where you go in the world, there's a group of people that don't like another group of people. It's just the way humanity is. So we divide racially. We have gender divides. Women are better than men are better than women. You hear it all. I remember, I'm old enough, and nobody else in here is other than Eugene. The battle of the sexes when Riggs played tennis against, what's her name? Billie Jean King. Yeah, it was a battle of the sexes. You weren't old enough to know about that. You read about it. Okay. Yeah, Billie Jean King, the battle of the sexes. I mean, we are just a people that divide. You know, I think there's really only one divide. And if we begin to think like this, we begin to see life and the world with a different perspective. And the divide is this: am I in alignment with God, or am I not in alignment with God? That's where the real divide starts. And I think that's what we'll see in Ecclesiastes chapter 7, verses 5 through 9 today. We are better with wisdom in life than folly. But sadly, in my life, I'm not talking about any of you guys, often my life is characterized by actions of folly. It's a shame. But this passage is going to tell us about where real wisdom lives and where folly resides. And I pray that we would take action and live based upon wisdom. Let me read. First of all, what is folly? What is folly? Yes, sir. I'm sorry. Fully, yeah. Let me try to describe it this way. A fool, or acting with folly in the biblical sense, has nothing to do with somebody's intellect. Zero to do with intellect. There can be smart, foolish, folly-acting people. But rather, foolishness or folly is referring to somebody that has an improper fear or respect for God. Someone that is prone to a direction in life that is counter to what God has sanctioned. If that's the case, what is wisdom? Wisdom is simply being in alignment with what God, how He thinks and what He wants us to do. That's simply the distinction between wisdom and folly. Now, verse number 5 of chapter 7, and I'll get with it. It is better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools. For as the crackling of thorns under a pot, so is the laughter of the fool. This also is vanity. Verse 7, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. Verse 8, better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit is better than the proud in spirit. Be not hasty in thy spirit to be angry, for anger resteth in the bosom of fools. And I got to tell you that personal confession, that's an area I have to work on all the time. Man, I can get angry. I can get angry quick. And that the Bible says foolish people do that. And Linda, hush. Hush, Linda. Verse number 5. Solomon the preacher really continues his thoughts from the previous verses of chapter 7, but also the previous 6 chapters of the Bible. He is simply saying this initially and broadly, and I hope we see this, and I hope in our life we've recognized this truth, that a man finds wisdom in adversity and in suffering. You do. If you're listening, if we listen in life and we watch the things that happen to us, in problems, I find wisdom. Rather than in ease and comfort. Ease and comfort is, I think it's the Song of Fools, but I'll talk about that in a minute. Linda and I are building a house on some land, and right now we're staying in a travel trailer at the property. I'm thinking to myself, okay, I can do this for a few months. It's different. But I can do this. I mean, I didn't grow up having anything. I understand what living a very meager life is about. Get it totally. So we get there. The energy company, still hasn't connected the utilities so that we can plug the trailer into the electricity. So we're having to run off a generator. And bought a new generator, spent $1,000 to buy a generator. And we're out there one day. Went out. I changed the spark plugs. I changed the oil. I did everything I could think of to that generator, and it wouldn't start. So I did what any guy that doesn't know what he's doing mechanically does. I called somebody I know. I called Eugene. I called John. And they also couldn't figure it out, which relieved my mind a little bit. Okay, I'm not a total fool. So they couldn't figure it out. So we took it called the warranty on it, took it to a repair shop, dropped it off. So, well, what are you going to do? It's going to be 19 degrees tonight. I have to have something to get some heat in this travel trailer. Linda is warm at night, but she ain't warm enough for 19 degrees. I can tell you that. And so bought another one, brand new one, went to Bass Pro and bought even a little bigger one than we had before, a Cabela. And we got back about 6 o'clock at night. It had already turned dark. I put the oil in it, filled it up full of gas. Nothing. What is going on here? Then Linda says, is that supposed to be coming out of the other side? Gas was pouring out the backside of it. I thought, no, that is not supposed to be happening. What are we going to do? It's going to be 19 degrees tonight. And the first generator went out. And this brand new one hasn't been cranked 1 second, is pouring gas out the engine, not out of a line, but out of the engine itself. So I called them, and we ended up being able to rig a small generator that could power a space heater, which doesn't do a lot in 19 degrees, but it brought it maybe up to 40-something degrees. And I thought, Lord, what are you teaching me? What do I need to learn? And I really thought that. What do I need to learn here? The wise man learns in adversity. Good times, I learn nothing. They're just good times. I don't think about them. And I think what he showed me is, Jeff, the things, the comforts of this world, the things we think we need, all you really need is me. And I think he clearly showed me that. And I think that's a lot of what is being said in verse number 5. It's better to hear the rebuke of the wise than for a man to hear the song of fools. The song of fools is nothing more than a momentary noise in life. What do you mean by that, Jeff? A song or laughter of fools is a puff of smoke in life that warns you and I believe, about them, about that person. But the rebuke of the wise is sweet music to the wise man. Do y'all remember when the preacher was preaching a sermon a while back about placing our faith in a man, specifically a president, specifically Trump. And I thought about what he said, that many in our circles, in our political beliefs, thought that that guy was an answer to the issues of our life. And the preacher very clearly rebuked me, and I believe rebuked us about where we're placing our faith. It is, verse number 5, it is better to hear the rebuke of the wise. You know, and I left the church that night. I'm thinking, he is right. I was wrong. And I need to heed what this wise man is saying. In our life, we need wise people to tell us we're wrong. We need wise people to tell us we are thinking incorrectly. You know, the song of the fool helps no one in no way. Yes, the song of the fool, the laughter of the fool may seem joyous for a little while. They may seem to be the life of the party. They may seem to be where all the fun is happening, and it may seem to be fun, but it delivers nothing for the soul and for the spirit. And I'll give some examples about that in just a minute. The song of the fool is like a fix for the flesh. The song of the fool, the laughter of the fool, is like a drink for the alcoholic. I've told you guys about this guy before that I worked with 40 years ago. And some of you remember this, but his name was Shakes. We called him Shakes. He would literally walk around like this. He didn't have Parkinson's. He had shakes. And what he would do at lunchtime was go get a fix, a little drink. As soon as he had that drink, he would come back to work and was as calm as he could be. He thought that little drink was a fix for his body, but it wasn't. It wasn't just a few months later. Shakes, we called him Shakes. He told us to call him Shakes. Shakes died from those drinks. The song of the fool, the laughter of the fool is but for a moment and helps no one. It's the needle for the junkie. The song of the fool, the frivolity that they have, they pretend or purport it to be something that's helping them in life, but they don't realize it's exacerbating their problems of life. Verse 6 really speaks more pointedly about that, and it's a continuation. Look at verse 6. For as the crackling of thorns under a pot, so is the laughter of the fool. This also is vanity. Does anybody have any idea why he would use the phrase, the cracking of the thorns? What that really means, what he's trying to convey there? Has anybody ever been out in the forest and started a fire? Do you know one of the best things to start a fire with are thorns and those type of things? Because, man, they start and they burn fast and bright. But what happens quickly? They're gone. They're gone. The laughter, the song of the fools. Hey, Lucy, how you doing? Good to see you. The song of the fool. Excuse me. It burns brightly initially and exhausts itself rather quickly. In the Bible days, and I believe the reason Solomon is using that was a fire starter. I would never be a good pyromaniac. I would never be. I can't start anything. So I used to cheat and go buy those little brick things. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? I think they call them fire starters. And so I would feel like I knew what I was doing. I'd get that fire started, put it under the wood so that Linda wouldn't see what I was doing. And I would get that fire starter lit, and there goes the fire. Well, in the old days, in Solomon's time, that's what they used. was these thorns and thistles as a quick means of getting fire going. And it would burn brightly, but then exhaust itself. Hopefully in time, the other wood caught on. The fool and his laughter is just like those crackling thorns. You see them. Man, they're the life of the party. They're the brightly burning ones, but does nothing for the spirit or for the soul. I desire this in life, that I can live a life that benefits somebody else. That appropriately I can say things that will wisely help somebody else. I don't desire to be the life of the party. I don't desire to be that brightly, quickly burning thing that catches everybody's attention and then where'd they go? They're gone. I want to be the one that helps Kim. You know, as an aside, let's pray for Kim. She's looking for a new place of employment, and I think it would be a wonderful thing if people that love her and her friends would pray for that. I know it's a concern for her. I've been praying every day about it. But if you know of anybody that's looking, please let her know. But I want to be somebody that helps, that is a benefit, and not just a brightly burning thing that fades away in life. Lucy, I want to be your friend till the day I leave this world and do things that benefit and help you and act with wisdom and not be a crackling thorn that brightly burns for a moment and then is gone. That's what he's telling us here in verse number 6. There's a great difference between those folks. I've often wondered how and why, and with people like that, in moments of frivolity, they often escalate to devious times. People who are the life of the party, and the flame is quickly disintegrated. But then they have to do something else to keep themselves. There's a guy that I went to high school with, and his last name was Enzer. He was that guy. He always wanted to have a brightly burning personality, trying to draw others to himself. And after that faded, he needed to quickly do something else until one evening it devolved into the next thing. And the next thing was going into a store and robbing it. And it devolved, and he ended up spending years in jail. I've often wondered why that type of personality always has to have that next thing that is a brightly burning issue of life, drawing attention to themselves. There are some examples of people that I know who were the life of the party. And I'm going to tell you about 4 of them quickly that I went to high school with, who were the ones that people looked at because their life burned so brightly. They were the center of attention. There was a guy named Kenny. Kenny today is a drunk and divorced. He's extinguished himself. He's no longer that bright, burning thorn. Terry is dead. He no longer is that bright, burning thorn that verse number 6 talks about. Billy is dead. He's no longer the life of the party. David is dead. And these guys didn't die in the last few years. They died 15 and 20 years ago. You know, there's a great lesson here for us in life. And I think it's this. What attracts you? What attracts me in life? Am I attracted to the people that will tell me things that are difficult to tell me because they love me? Or am I attracted to the bright burning things because, you know what, that's fun. That's where I want to live life, among those type of people. And, you know, I think what draws us in life in one of these 2 areas tells a lot about our life. I think I'm going to make a statement here, and I think this is a good rule of thumb to live by. The life of the party is usually not the person that you need in your life. I've seen it over and over again. People that are attracted to that type of person have ruined their lives. Look for the friend that will be honest and candid with you and tell you you got something between your teeth. Look for that friend in life, not for the one that will see it and ignore it because they want to be the life of the party. Verse number 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, and a gift destroyeth the heart. What sets you off in life? Are there things in life that set you off, that make you mad? There are some things that I'm going to tell you that will set me on fire. One of them is people acting with condescension towards others, thinking that they are better than everybody else. I was getting on a bus in London, right outside of Piccadilly Circus at a bus stop there. And there had to be, 30 buses there, but the bus we were getting on probably held 50 folks. And it's, as an aside, it's the bus that Linda threw up on me on, driving from London to East England. I still love her, though. I would still love her. But we were waiting to get, we were sitting in the front of the bus, and we couldn't, they didn't have bathrooms on the bus, that bus. So I had to sit there for like an hour and a half on me. It was not fun. Anyway, that's an aside. We were waiting to get on that bus, and there was an old lady at the front of the line. She had to be 80 years old. She had to step up, and she couldn't get up the bus. And there were guys in the back of that line who were yelling and cussing at this old woman. Like, hurry up. And I can't obviously say the words they were saying. That made me mad. And a few others in the crowd, too. Telling the guys to shut up. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. I believe this verse really speaks to two different perspectives. When we see oppression of somebody else, the wise man can have his ire raised. But I also believe it's talking about when he sees oppression of himself, he has his indignation and his ire raised. But there's a warning here about that. When we act with indignation and madness, do you know what we are apt to do? We're apt to react without thinking. I think it is a right thing when somebody is oppressed to stand up for those people that are oppressed. I think that's a right thing. But the Bible here in verse 7 is warning us about acting without waiting and understanding a full perspective about what's going on. It is so easy. I thought about many of the examples of life where I have spoken and said something before I should, but I didn't want to embarrass Linda because there are so many examples where I have misspoken and I didn't understand what the real issue was and said something and stuck my foot in my mouth and had to eat crow. That is what he is saying about this first part of verse number 7. Wise man, watch out what you're raising your ire about. When you are getting mad, even about somebody being oppressed, make sure you understand the totality of the message and what's being said or what's being done prior to taking action and saying something that could be perceived incorrectly. I think a wise man needs to act in every instance with patience, understanding the situation before he takes action. And for time's sake, let's go to the last part of verse number 7. And a gift destroyeth the heart. Why does he say that? Eugene, why does he say that? A gift destroyeth the heart. A gift destroyeth the heart. When we receive something from somebody, it is easy to mute our thoughts and our words. Let me give you this example. I love Kim Tanner. I think she is a wonderful lady. She is feverishly looking for a job right now. I think that as her friend, if I see something that she needs to work on in the pursuit of that, I should tell her. But if I am in a position to get something from Kim, a gift or whatever, and that begins to temper my honest interaction with her, that is a problem in life. Why do we have rules against giving police officers gifts at a traffic stop? Why do we have those? Why do we have those rules and laws? Because maybe they may not follow the law. And the same thing with judges, and the same thing with anybody in authority. A gift will alter the honest. Matter of fact, turn if you would. Let me see. Turn to Exodus chapter 23. I was reading this morning. Exodus 23:8. Exodus 23:8. Verse number 8. And thou shalt take no gift, for the gift blindeth the wise. You know, I think it's important that we watch who, from whom, and what we take from others. I think accepting gifts is a great and wonderful thing, but if it affects how I interact with somebody else, I need to be very careful about accepting those gifts. Look at Exodus chapter 18. This is from Moses' father-in-law, and he gave Moses some insight as to how to judge the people, how to help them with their problems. And in verse number 21, this is the characteristics of people that they were looking for who were above and leaders of everybody else, and the traits that they should have. Verse 21, moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating what? Covetousness. You know, getting gifts is a wonderful, wonderful thing. I personally think we should make a rule. If I am a leader of somebody, I will never take a gift. I have people send me stuff from work all the time, and usually what I'll do is just give it to Linda and let her have it. I tell them, do not send me anything. At Christmas time, they used to send tickets to the Grizzly basketball game and this and that. And I had to tell them, do not send me anything. Because what happens on the day, and this has happened, that I have to terminate somebody that gave me a gift. You know what's in the back of my head at that time? They gave me that gift to the Grizzly basketball game. They gave me a Ruth's Chris a gift certificate to take my wife out to dinner. Well, maybe that's not the one that I should terminate. I guarantee you that happens in the corporate world. Guarantee you. He's simply saying here in verse number 7, a gift destroyeth the heart. It changes how a wise man thinks. And we need to be careful about that. One more verse and we'll be done. Verse number 8. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit better than the proud in spirit. You know, life is a process. Do you know that? I don't know where Brother Mike's at this morning. He may be teaching. But the process of going on deputation as a missionary was a process. And I guarantee you he would say, better is the end of a thing than the beginning, starting deputation. Man, I'm done. But I think it applies to every area of life. In December 15th, 1980, I married Linda. We've been married a long time. That was a great day. That was a wonderful day. I loved Linda. But still in that area, better is the end of a thing than the beginning. Today, 41 years later, I love Linda more today than I did 41 years ago. Better is the end of a thing. And the day I die, I want us to be able to look at each other and say, today is the greatest day of our marriage. Better is the end of a thing. Rachel has a beau chasing her. And it's a wonderful thing in her life. But even with that, better is the end of a thing than the beginning. Better is the end of a thing than the beginning thereof, and the patient in spirit better than the proud in spirit. Here's the wrap up of everything that he's been telling us today. Be patient in life. Be patient. What problem do you have? Is it a generator and another generator and another generator of life? Be patient in life. Be patient in your relationships that you have or that you're nurturing or that you're developing. Be patient in them. Be patient in your friendships with other folks. Use wisdom and be patient in the events of life that will happen. Everyone here, every single person here will have a hill to climb in some area of life. It's going to happen. It may be unruly kids in a classroom. It may be something that just is bothering me, making me, if you will, making me angry in life. I don't understand this. He is telling us in these passages here, be patient in life. As you're building a house, Eugene, and you break bit after bit and drill after drill, be patient in life. What is he trying to tell us in life through the problems? I assure you, he is being that wise friend who is giving us the hard, cold truth in life. He's not being the flaming bush that burns brightly, that makes us all happy to be around initially. He's being the one that's telling us the truth. Be patient in life. We need that. And if we have an under the sun premise, who remembers what that is? That's Solomon wrote the under the sun premise in Ecclesiastes, and it's about the things that happen here on earth without an eternal view. If our view of life is only an under the sun premise, and we don't recognize that this is but just a vapor of all of eternity, if we live a life with an under the sun perspective, we will be people that get aggravated, they get impatient, that get angry in life, and have problems with others. But if we have an above the sun perspective and realize that life is beyond just the temporal that we see, it encompasses eternity, we can begin to be a people that operate with patience and with kindness and with love and with wisdom with those that we care about. We're dismissed.